I started the sky holes here, close to the focal point, and then said, I took a breath, said, well, I'm going to continue. And then I stepped away from the canvas, and I went, oh.
Yeah, it looks best to leave it.
Because, see,
you know, want it dull out here.
Exactly. I'm going to do a few tiny touches, but I think that's my most common mistake. I just plow forward. Oh, that was fun.
Let's keep doing it.
Let's just keep doing it. Just keep doing.
Let's do 20.
Yeah. And I think I would have if I hadn't just stepped back, you know, kind of take a breath, so to speak, in the painting.
Yeah, that keeping it lightest, brightest.
Yep, right in there.
Right in here really brings the eye to that area and it keeps this subdued.
Now, as I say, there's a real fine line between soft and unfinished. You don't want it to look like the artist just went, oh, what the heck, and walked away. So I feel like just a few, even that might be too bright, but just a few.
It's really light though. It's really subtle.
A few, like you know, touches like that. That might be enough, just so that it doesn't look like the artist walked away.
Leave the eye down.
Yep. Isn't that right? Am I thinking right? And same thing here.
I think you got it right.
I don't want to do too much, but just a little bit. Our eye picks up on that tiny sharp edge, and we go, okay, no, he finished the painting. Yeah. And then I can even come in here now and do this, a trick almost, which is anytime you put, you heard me maybe say this earlier, anytime you in the opaque realm, which is only the last stages, when you put a color down, it almost always is a good idea to come back. Now, obviously in the sky, because we want the lightness, but just to come back and do a few touches on top of that looks good. And then I'll be done. It's nice when you think, oh, I probably still got 45 minutes to go on something, and you go, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm done. Done with the sky. Oh, yeah. No, I haven't even started that. I'm just done with the sky, maybe. That's all.
Yeah,
no,
I think I'd leave it alone. I don't think I'd...
Yep. If I want to add more, I can tomorrow, can't I?
Yeah. Leave it alone for at least a day.
Yeah. That's a good rule, guideline. Well, thanks, man. It's been fun painting with you. Maybe we'll do it again. If you don't mind my jabbering to my friends in Germany and the Netherlands, Canada, Texas. Hey gang, so I'm back and coming down the home stretch. I'm tired, I'm hungry, my feet are sore. The biggest thing that needs to be finished here is the stuff in the red, the stop sign and the little bit of red building behind it. I'm looking at this. I'm going to leave it for now. Well, let's tackle this stop sign first. And of course, there are two things that are going to set the stop sign apart from the building. It looks like a barn, but it's not. It's actually an old store. Two things are going to set the stop sign. One is a more intense red, and of course it's got letters on it, STOP. So there, of course, we're going to enter into that old problem of how do you paint letters in a painting. And the answer is very subtly, very carefully, very messy. Pull back the reins, don't do too much. Whatever you do, do not slip into penmanship. And I see this in students all the time, where there's some kind of word or wordage in their painting, and they're working in the impressionistic world, what I like to call abstract realism. And that you can see, though, that as soon as they got the letters, they went, oh boy, this is the part I know how to do. And they got out of their painting brain completely and put on their penmanship, third grade penmanship brain, picked up their brush as if it were a pencil, stuck up their tongue and wrote S-T-O-P. Sorry to sound so ridiculing about that, but I see it so many times. I hope I can ridicule some of you out of making that exact mistake. So, you want the letters in a painting to be just as abstract as all the rest of the painting. That's one way to put it. Now, easier said than done. One of the answers, well, how do you do it then? One of the answers would be by degrees, by stages, in phases, not all at once. You don't do it all at once. You do it in stages. Anything that's complex, complicated, in my opinion, you do it in stages. How do you paint a tree? In layers, in phases, stages, degrees, layers, one layer at a time. That's how you paint good trees. How do you paint faces? Ditto. How do you paint a very busy sky? Ditto. Same way. In layers. So here I'm painting the stop sign. Of course, this is already my 4th or 5th layer on this sign, so that helps. It's already got a bunch of work underneath this. I'm coming close to the last layer, though. And wouldn't you know, either my sign is too big or my letters are too small. That's funny. I'm not going to change the size of the letters. I mean, the size of the sign, so I am going to change the size of the letters. Now I'm mixing up some red. So the last layer I did was a dull white. It might look white to you, but it's not. It's not. It's barely white. It's a dirty white. Now coming in with red in this matte. One of the best ways, by the way, to paint letters without slipping into penmanship, a little trick, it's not a foolproof, but it helps, is paint them, what I'm doing right now, paint them in reverse. Don't paint the letters, paint what's around or behind the letters. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm painting the letters, stop, S-T-O-P, by painting the red behind them. Does that make sense? That's one trick. It's not foolproof, because you can still stick your tongue out and get all fussy, 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 and overdo it, even though you're but it's one trick. Another trick is paint with two hands. That's all I'm going to say about that. I also want to give the impression that the sign is got striations of light, sun, and shadow in it. Am I zoomed in all as far as I can go? Yeah, I am. Sorry about that. Not done with that sign, okay? So how do you paint something complex? I'm calling this stop sign complex. The answer is in phases, stages, layers. So the first time I did the white, it was with a pretty messy, dirty white. Now I'm mixing up a cleaner white, still warm, still has some Naples yellow in it, but it's much lighter than the first time. So, what am I going to paint? I'm not sure. Mostly on top of what's already there, I will say that. I'm probably not going to paint much, if any, outside the white that I did just a few minutes ago. Does that make sense? I'm doing white on top of what I did. Probably not introducing new. Okay, back to the letters now. I do not me to paint the whole letter. That would be a big mistake. You see that? This is an easy one because nobody in America has to think twice about what this sign says. So I don't have to get too exact because everybody already knows what it says.
Love the shadows on it.
Yeah, thank you. There, we're probably done. Done with that. I think done with the stop sign. Now, there is a problem child happening here that let me go ahead and take a whack at finishing, and that is the tree trunk. Right here. I'm going to try to suggest this tree trunk with as little, I'm going to try to indicate a tree trunk with as little drawing as I can get away with. I'm mixing up a dull brown. Again, by the way, just some of us have been engaged in a conversation about mud here a little bit. Several people have challenged my definition. I've given it challenges very serious consideration. I've come back to mud, and I think most teachers will agree with me here. Most good, Richard Schmid certainly. Mud is not a color. The problem with mud is not a color. What I'm putting down on the canvas right now is about as muddy a color as you could possibly. It looks more bright than it is because at the moment because of what I'm putting it on top of. But it's a gray brown, mousy gray brown, and yet it doesn't look muddy here at all. Mud has nothing to do with color. Has to do with opacity, misuse of opaque. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I've already gotten on that road today. If you want to know more, go to YouTube and do a search for Dan Nelson or Dan Nelson Art. I'm entirely happy with that. Too much of it. Too much rendering. There we go, that's better. I'm not done with it. I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to cheat. I'm going to cheat the system. Put those brushes down, pick up some clean ones. I'm going to mix up a dark, transparent. I want to do the dark side of this tree trunk. So I'm cheating my system because theoretically I'm all done with darks. Is that right? Does that make sense? That's why I'm cheating. It doesn't matter. I'm not really cheating, but I'm cheating my system. I want to come in here and do the dark side of this tree. And again, as you can, I hope, tell, it's just a sun-splattered, sun-speckled tree trunk, so it doesn't have any long continuous shapes about it at all. It's all broken up by light and shadow. That might be enough for right now. Let me do a little bit more of that up here. A few more discrete branches. Not much. Just turn your hands onto, you just say branches, paint branch light, and you just turn them on. You don't paint every branch like Bob Timberlake. unless you are Bob Timberlake, then you paint like Bob Timberlake. But that's nuts. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, back to my light brushes. Remember the simple trick, simple rule. Every rule can be broken. But the one simple rule: anytime you put down an opaque color, come back, mix up a slightly, and the word "slightly" is very important here. A slightly lighter version of what you just put down, slightly lighter version, and come back and paint on top of what you just did earlier, a few minutes earlier. Okay. I mean, it could be the next day, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a few minutes, but the last thing you did was put down this opaque stuff. Especially, this is especially true, like the brown that I painted in here just a few minutes ago. I used the same color brown from here to here to here to here to here. And that is really bad. That if you leave it that way, it's like, ew. Bad painting. The artist used the same color brown on his brushes all over the place. Now, there's other ways to achieve the same thing, of course, which is just continually be mixing paint on your brushes. don't use the same color, but that takes longer. So I'm just suggesting you an easy way to do that. Thank you, ma'am.
I do a little that one.
Do you really?
Are you doing the store over there?
Yeah, the red store right there.
My brother's store.
Is that your brother's?
Yeah.
Is that your brother's? The old guy who owned it for years, or the new people who own it? Oh, the new people.
I'm Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. I'm Dan. Good to meet you. So, do y'all live here? Year round? Yeah.
We live in Texas.
Where in Texas?
My dad's somewhere. Just north of Austin.
Very cool. I just live in San Saba. We like sell them on Friday. Here's the office somewhere. Keep an eye on the paper. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the question might be, well, if you do that trick one time where you come back and do slightly lighter on top, right? Well, can you do it again? The answer is absolutely, of course. This is what I'm going to do right now. So I mixed up even a brighter color. It goes mostly on top of what I just did a few minutes ago. Hey, man. Okay. I'll be there in a bit. Have fun.
Very nice.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm coming down the home stretch, I think. Be careful not to do too much. I'm going to come in and do some hard edge. You know, all this red in here is still left over from the fuzz layer, the soft edge. And it won't really look quite right till I come in and do some hard edges with it. Mixing up some red that's not quite as bright as the stop sign. Well, I don't know, that is as bright as the stop sign. Can I get away with that? Nope, I can't. So let me darken that down a little bit of violet. Add a little violence to my red. It got dark all right. Got it dark enough all right. I'm trying to back up. Say, wait, not that dark. For those of you who are students and you mix colors and you screw up, and you may wonder, no, of course not. No. We all do that. A little too much of this or that. I don't even worry about it. I don't even think, you know, aspiring to be the best color mixer on the planet is that great of an ambition. Yeah, just mess with it. You get it right. My apologies to whoever is the best color mixer on the planet. I'm sure you have extraordinary skills. I don't know if you have painting skills, though. Maybe you do. Okay, so the red side of this, just a few hard edges here and there, not many. Some of which will help define the trunk of this tree and the branches of this tree. So just a little bit goes a long way. Don't need to do much at all. In fact, my fan brush fell in the dirt here a while ago. Okay, fan brush, love it. I don't use it for like Bob Ross very often. I use it to do this quite often. Just soften everything. Just soften stuff. And then very often come back after that and add again, re-add just a few hard edges. Soften that again. Okay, now I think that I'm going to leave that for now. The one maybe last thing that I really do need to do is a little bit of little bits of green foliage that's on top of all this stuff. Does that make sense? Just bear with me here for a minute. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry to waste your time cleaning brushes. The bane of my existence. When I get really rich, I'm going to hire an assistant. Hire an assistant to come and just clean, not just hand him a dirty brush. Clean that, clean that, clean that. Whew. Okay. Foliage. Let me get a different brush, a smaller, medium small. There we go. Okay. Usually when I'm using two brushes, I usually prefer to use two different sizes. Okay, I'm going to try to mix up a fairly dull green here. Dull, mid-tone, not too bright, not too light, not too dark. Quite muted, yeah, getting there. Needs to be a little darker. Let's try that. Okay, now, just some very abstract smudges here and there, mostly responding to what's already on the canvas, responding to the green that's already there. As you can see, painting almost always with the blade of the brush, the heel of the brush, not the point. Very, very rarely. Now that may just be a Dan Nelsonism, but I don't think so. I think that's a little more universal. I think most good painters tend to paint with the heel of the brush. More beginners, I think they're supposed to paint, well, they hold their brush like this, so they tend to paint that way, right? Most of my paintings, unless it's a portrait, different animal. Portrait is a different world. I'm doing a wedding painting this afternoon on the porch while I wait for the sunlight to get good again. Other than portraits, 90% of my paintings, I never hold the brush like this, ever, in the entire painting process. Never. And I would think 90% of paintings. 10% of my paintings, I'll do it for a moment for some unusual reason. Something that is pushing me to do that. The only time I hold my brush that way, then 90% of my paintings, I think that's a reasonable estimate, is to do my signature. So some of you should take note. Not everybody has to paint like me. I just mixed up a darker green, by the way. A little bit more chroma, a little bit darker. Nah, that didn't do anything. So I've got a fairly dark green on my brushes right now, and it's what's the word? It's fair game. Any color that's on the canvas that is darker than what I've got here on my brushes is fair game for applying this dark green. If something part of the canvas is lighter than this, I must not put this on top. If there's a lighter area and I come in, this is opaque. Why? Well, because I'd be breaking the rule. It's not the rule that matters, it's what it looks like. If you get darker, if you make any part of your painting darker using opaque paint, in my opinion, it looks muddy, and that's what mud is, in my opinion. Mud is not a color. Mud is a mysterious thing. When you look at some part of your painting and go, I don't know what's wrong with this part right here, but that looks muddy. Okay, and most people are beginners, think it's a color. It has nothing to do with color. Because some of the muddiest colors in the world are perfect, primo, if they're put in the right spot. It has nothing to do with color. It has to do with appropriateness of... Now that I did that, I'm going to come in and do a little bit more twiggy branches with sunlight hitting them. Okay, now I'm going to mix up again a lighter green this time, lighter than I've had up to this point. Lighter and brighter green. Again, following my oft-repeated adage, put down a color, follow up by mixing something slightly lighter than that, and put it on top of the earlier, slightly darker version of it. So I've got a bright green, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, do I have to be careful with this. Green has a glow unique to itself. Green is the brightest color the human eye perceives. Contrary to what some of you might think, yellow, pink, red, no, green is the brightest color we can see. I could demonstrate that in a number of ways. One of the simple demonstrations, it doesn't prove it, but is that pedestrian crossing guards, school, elementary school, people wearing a vest, right? Little, or not the vest even, maybe a vest or the little strap. What color is it? The answer is chartreuse. The answer is bright green. School crossing signs, at least in North Carolina and much of the country, chartreuse. High-tech fire trucks, what color are they? They're red because of tradition, but if they are following the best science. They are bright, bright green, the last color to disappear from our vision as things get darker and darker and darker. Anyway, it has to do, my explanation is rods in our retina, right? Rods perceive value and cones perceive color. But the cone color function spills over into value function in the case of green. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm almost getting a little too speckledy everywhere. So I'm actually going to respond to that right now and soften red and green over here. Red, green, and brown. Scratch a little bit. How about up here? Yep, up here a little bit too much. It's easy to come and add more speckly stuff, tomorrow. Not so easy to take it away. I'm going to stop right there. We'll call it quits. I will look at this painting with fresh eyes, of course, tomorrow. And add anything I want to. At the moment, I'm going to sign it and call it done. I'll try to remember to take a good picture of it this afternoon and get it posted. Oh, you know what? No, I'm changing my mind. Hang on. Stop the press. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, this is a step that I sometimes do, therefore often forget because it's not a regular, and that is broken color. Broken color, which means I come in and match the value of what's already on the painting anywhere, but put a color down. There's a hint of underpainting orange on this roof right here. All of a sudden I went, wait a minute, some more orange. Oh, yeah, that's right, I could do the underpaint, not underpaint. I could do the, break some color here. Now that's a little bit too contrived. Give me, let's paint with a rag and take some of that out that I just put on. Okay, very subtle. Let's look around. So I've got orange, burnt, dull orange on my brushes at the moment. Is there any place, it's important that wherever I put this right now, that it be the same value as what's already on the painting. Not lighter, not darker. I'm cheating right there because it is lighter. I just happen to know that that's going to look really good right there. I have it on good authority that that's going to look good. Okay, so there's some orange. Let's switch around. Clean those brushes real quick. Nope, let's clean those later. The bane of my existence, cleaning brushes. Let's try some purple violet. Not super intense, but fairly chromatic, fairly high chroma. Lavender, really light purple. Okay, very arbitrary. Now, what I'm doing actually is looking for any place in the painting where this lavender already exists because of all the layers of underpainting. Adding a little bit. Broken color. This is, definitely the latest addition to my painting formula, repertoire. The very last thing that I do. Before I forget to do it because it's not ingrained yet. Very strange phenomenon. Very strange to some of you in particular. Oh, that was nice. Oh my goodness, that was nice. Now, this is not broken color right here. This is broken value. The color I have on my brushes right now is a fairly pale. I'm going to go ahead and darken it right now. It's a fairly light purple. Therefore, anywhere that I put it, on a dark area, that's not broken color. That's broken value. Both are important. But my whole painting, my entire painting technique, so to speak, could be described as values painting, working with broken. So my paintings are full, overflowing with broken values, not so much broken color. So again, coming in and introducing these little touches, kind of like playing playing a game. I'm playing a game with the eyeballs of the viewer very much. And I'm liking what's happening here. You guys probably can't see it. Again, you'll have to wait for the final photo in on my Facebook. My Facebook community page. I'll post a photograph. There you'll be able to see this broken color. Okay, so I did orange, purple, and aqua-ish. Okay, I'm going to stop there just so I don't go too far. I can add more later if I want to. It's time for his signature, and I'm not going to make you watch me, but I am going to tell you once again, just in case you haven't heard this. I won't go full on. I am a card-carrying signature snob. I have really strong opinions about signatures, and those of you who are beginners or students, you old-timers, you're going to ignore, you're not going to pay any attention to what I say. It's too late. I didn't get you in time. But you beginners, listen to me. Number one, initials are taboo. No initials. That's Bush League, amateur. I'm sorry, and I have dear friends who sign their paintings with initials, and I just can't bring it myself to tell them how bad I feel like that is. No initials. Names. Number two, legible. Don't go along with that silly mark of Zorro. I will be so famous that they will see my X, C in Zorro's case, and know that it is me. Now that's ridiculous. That's arrogant. And it's just unrealistic. So make your signature legible. That means you're going to have to learn some brushmanship. That's part of the reason why so many beginner painters are so bad. They don't really know how to handle brush. Well, first of all, Winsor Newton Series 7. No mystery. Don't try anything else. Go right now to Amazon. Buy it. Winsor Newton Series 7. This happens to be a number 3 miniature. Now, they sell regular and miniature. The miniature are shorter bristles. Doesn't make it, I like the longer bristles generally, but the miniature is perfectly good for signatures. Now, am I on the, no, I'm off. There we go. You don't have to do this fast. This is not a race. There is no particular virtue in rendering your signature in fast speed. No, why? It's going to be here for 500 years. Nobody will give a rip if you spent 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Both of those are exaggerations. Nobody will give a rip if you spent 30 minutes or 30 seconds doing your signature. They will care if they can read it. Anyway, that's all. I'm going to stop there. Thanks for watching. I hope I might be broadcasting again this afternoon on another project. Remains to be seen. My goal is to do one nice painting a day. Here it is, 2 o'clock, and I feel like I've done a nice painting, so it's a good day's work. Thanks, you guys, for watching. I will look forward to responding to your chat comments and your comments later on. Thanks for watching. If you like this, pass it on to